Gentlemen, I'm AJ.
And I'm Jurn.
And we're two pro wrestling twitchers that are doing a podcast called the Gruesome Twosome Pod, where we talk about anything but wrestling and entertainment and everything that makes us happy, which isn't wrestling.
I mean, like, I'm open to talk about wrestling, but AJ isn't, so.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I'm fine with talking about wrestling.
Oh, okay, so maybe that'll be on another date. But that's not today, goddammit. Today's The Office.
Yeah.
And like,
I mean, I do have to do a quick shout though. We do have our first sponsor ever. Our sponsor of the podcast this week is Big Red Chewing Gum. If you don't chew Big Red, fuck you.
This is also a public service announcement from Jurn Simmons and Alexander James saying, don't travel to Tijuana.
They're what is it? They're big packs of stray dogs that run wild throughout the city. Yeah. I don't know. There's some lines that I'm forgetting out.
I love how he just started with just Talladega Nights quotes.
Yeah, it's good.
Dude, I love that movie so much. Like all those series of Will Ferrell movies are all so excellent.
Yeah, I agree. I remember looking that up recently on like Netflix. I think maybe Talladega Nights was on there. I don't know. Like there's one of those movies that I tried to look up and it wasn't on there. I got really heated. There's a lot of like movies that I try to look up on Netflix and then they're not on there. So
oh yeah, that's a bummer. I always get pissed because I go from like country to country and every time I turn on Netflix it's a fucking gamble.
Yeah. That's the thing as well, because I remember like I watched Hot Rod on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
In England, and then I wanted to like watch that movie with a girl like in Germany, and then it wasn't on there. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, that's bullshit. Is this the same story where you guys ended up watching Broly instead?
No, it's a different one.
Oh man. So speaking of Netflix, do you know what's available on Netflix here in the States?
Tell me, AJ.
You just know this is a fucking setup. I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah.
This is The Office.
Yeah, it's not on Netflix over here.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Not even the UK version?
No, not even the UK version.
We've got both. I haven't watched the UK version, even though you keep telling me to. But today, from people voted
it's really
on,
good.
Yeah, I've heard. Like, I love Ricky Gervais as well, his stand-up and his acting. So I really want to check that out. And I love
Derek too.
Really?
Yeah, Derek is really good.
Yeah. Also, I loved. Do you remember Ricky Gervais making a cameo as his character in the U.S. office?
Yeah. I remember that. It's like
So
he meets up with like Michael Scott outside the elevator, and they tell some racist jokes to each other and laugh. Right?
yeah, and they just like love each other. Also, thank you, official Amy Sam, for the donation, which reminds me I forgot to turn off the alert boxes.
Donations already.
Yeah, fucking machines. We're champions of industry.
Ooh, dude, you know what's weird?
What?
Like I have like the thing open on Twitch right now, right?
Yeah.
I found out about this yesterday. I can't chat anymore on Twitch. I have no idea why. Yeah, like the chat's there. It says welcome to the chat room and everything, but I can't type anything. I have no idea why.
Maybe someone just fucking reported you so many times for just being a shit stirrer.
Maybe.
But this is a confession saying I reported you so many times for being a shit stirrer.
Yeah. Yeah. You had to pause your stream, like you pause your gameplay to read the chat, and then you're like, God damn!
I made the comment the other day about my streams being like, hey guys, if I'm bad with answering, or if I get distracted, I'm sorry. Jurn gives me shit about pausing my stream, so I'm trying to be more diligent about that.
Hell yeah.
Hey, it's improvement. It's gotten better.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, The Office. When were you first introduced to it?
I don't know, man.
Did someone suggest it to you, or you just kind of stumble upon it?
I think like it was. I remember. Like my dad was a big fan of the UK Office.
Okay.
And through that, I started checking out US Office. Cause I watched UK Office first, cause my dad had like burned it on a disc, and then like we would watch it, and then I found out about the US Office through the magic of the internet, and then I started watching that.
Amazing. I actually held off watching it for years because for some reason I didn't think it was that good or it was worth the hype. But my buddy Greg, who I know I've talked about with you a bunch, aka Greg Excellent for people in the wrestling community that would know that name from CZW fame, and that amazing viral video of the Assyrian Portal and the Runaways where a big hairy fat man was also naked on the outside. That was yours truly, Greg Excellent.
Yours truly is referring to yourself.
That's true. I realized as saying it, and I just kept pushing ahead.
You were hoping I wasn't going to point it out, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I know better. But yeah, so he would like watch it to relax himself, or if we're on the road or something and we're all asleep in a hotel room, and he would watch an episode or two to like fall asleep, and he really, really liked it. So I finally I went to start with the first season. Here's the thing: first season is only 6 episodes, and it's so much different than the rest.
Than the second season.
Yeah, because they pick it up. They're like, okay, because it's a pilot season, right? So I started with the first season. I was kind of like, and fell out of it. And then Drew Gulak, we were on the road once to go do like WWE extra work, and we started talking about movies and just different stuff, because I don't think at that point we had really ever discussed anything other than wrestling. So as close as we were finally actually just talking about real stuff. And he insisted I had to watch The Office. So then I started from season 2, and I went all the way through.
Probably the better way to go, honestly.
Yeah, because season 1, most of the characters aren't even established.
No, but like you said, like season 1 is so different from the rest of the show. And honestly, I've never finished watching the show.
Really?
Because for me, like after like the character of Michael Scott left, I tuned out. Like I tried sticking in there and watching more of it and everything, but I was just like, yeah, I'm not into this anymore. And then I just watched the final episode, like where he returns.
Okay, so that's what something I was about to mention is the season after he leaves is still good. The next 2 seasons, the season after that's kind of like, okay, but I love it because it's The Office. Then the last season, it's kind of like, all right, I'm getting through this. It's still got its moments though, and then the final episode just makes me so happy.
Yeah, but I feel like he as a character kind of held everything together.
Yeah, because he was like such a central point, because it's about like, again, the show's called The Office. It's about an American working class office, but he's like the central focal point of it, and sexual focal point, as I almost said. Which I say that as a joke, but he kind of is.
Yeah.
Which is
he absolutely is, because he has the most relationships in the show.
Yeah, which is disturbing, but like. So yeah, it's all about him wanting to always be a boss and that mentality and stuff like that. And then like once it leaves, really the biggest central focal point I think is kind of like maybe Jim and Pam's relationship, but like that's already so established and has its happy ending almost that it's kind of like, okay, it's just kind of
you know, like from the very first moment that they're gonna go with Jim and Pam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like it gets like set up and teased so much, then like Jim goes with Karen, but you know, like, oh, he's gonna end up with Pam anyway, so it is what it is.
Oh yeah. Also, someone in the chat just said, "Holy cow, AJ's mic sounds really good." Yeah, this is my original streaming mic. I decided that for voiceovers and the podcast, maybe I should use this instead of my shirt microphone. So this is
what do you do voiceovers for?
Like for original stuff for the YouTube channel. I was gonna start doing lists and stuff like that. I haven't actually made one yet, so it's all hearsay. So it's all
just ideas,
bullshit right now, but this one does sound really good.
Oh, Oracle has never seen a whole episode.
Wow, really? So I know a lot of people are like that who try it for a little bit and they're like, "Oh, not my thing," but like give it a couple episodes and it'll either catch you for the fact that, "Oh my God, I can't believe they made this joke," or the cringe factor, or like you'll fall in love with some of the
That's
characters.
that's the thing. Like it, like a lot of it, a lot of the humor is like cringe humor, right? Which is very like prevalent in the UK version of the show as well. It's kind of like a Ricky Gervais staple. It's to just be so uncomfortable that it's funny.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. Like I think a lot of people like can't really handle that or are just not into that.
It just
You know, so I don't blame people for not being into The Office, but I do think like with like it being a comedy series, it's one of the more rewarding ones because the characters and relationships actually do like get fleshed out like a way more than other shows, and then there's there's moments that are just way more gratifying when they pay off. You know what I mean? Like I remember, I think it was like, was it like season 3 or season 4 where like Pam has like her art exhibit and then nobody fucking shows up for it.
Yes.
And then Michael ends up showing up and he's like just like nobody gives Pam's art any like light of day. Like they don't all think it's shit. Everybody shows up there.
Yeah, and even
And then
her
Michael
boyfriend
shows up and
even her boyfriend shows up. He's like, "Hey, look, I brought my brother. Like, that's cool, right?" Nobody else showed up. Like, completely just not getting it.
Yeah, and then Michael shows up and then like he looks at the painting that like or drawing or whatever that she did of the office. And then he's just amazed by it. He's like, "Oh my God, it's so like detailed." And like and then like she just hugs him and it's like one of the sweetest moments ever. And that's actually like pretty early on into the show.
Yeah, and like that's such a good. And then of course they immediately not ruin it, but make a gag out of it. And she's like, "Oh my God, like what's in his pocket?" He's like, "Oh, it's candy bar. Why?" Like just completely oblivious. Like,
yeah.
And that's another thing is like by season 3 and 4, like every single character has their own unique feel and quirk about them, and like they all start off as super normal, but then you realize like, nah, this whole office is kind of crazy except for Pam and Jim.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, like even they have their own like quirks though.
Yeah. I think like Daryl's pretty normal as well.
Oh yeah, Daryl's what's up. Daryl's what's up.
Daryl's the shit.
I love that actor and literally like
Sippity toppity, give me the poppity or whatever.
Yeah. And like what was it? He taught Michael urban slang and it was like guapa or whatever it was or some random word.
That's what I just said.
No, but there's another specific word as well.
Oh, okay.
Like
yeah,
earlier on.
like that.
Because that's when they're going to the interview at corporate and like Daryl's in the car, he's like, "I know I should be on my best behavior, but I cannot help myself." And he just teaches Michael all this bullshit.
Oh, James Kid UK actually has a good point in the chat. Says season 1 tries to copy the UK one too much, but finds its own identity afterwards. Yeah, like I agree with that.
I could see that because, like, again, I haven't watched a full episode of The Office UK, but you can tell by the tone and the way it's shot and like how bland everything almost feels, which is what part of why it works for the UK. But like American comedy doesn't really appeal that much, so it seems like they changed a little bit for American audiences, and that's how it finds its identity.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
Actually,
I also
brings up one of the fun facts I had found was when they were casting John Krasinski to play Jim.
Yeah,
they originally brought him in to read for Dwight, and
what?
Yeah, and he had to convince him it was for Jim. And while he was in the waiting room, someone was like, "Hey, so are you nervous?" And he's like, "Not really. This is one of those things where either you get it or you don't. What I'm really nervous is that they mess up the show because I love the UK Office, and Americans have a huge tendency to mess up shows they convert from UK." And then apparently the man goes, "Hi, my name's Craig Daniels. I'm the executive producer."
Oh yeah. That's funny. I mean, like, he's actually like, what's funny about like Krasinski is that like he's had a pretty successful career afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Like after The Office, like he's directed like a bunch of movies and all that kind of stuff. But whenever I see him in anything, it's still just Jim Halpert. I can't like. I can't see him as anything else anymore.
No, I agree. And then like what's really weird is recently Kelly sent me something on Twitter where John Krasinski got everybody on from the Office cast over voice call during all of the COVID stuff to do like a little reenactment of the dance party or whatever. And he's just speaking in his normal tone. And when John Krasinski speaks normally, he has the thickest Boston accent. And it's so strange to hear when you're just used to Jim Halpert's like dry demeanor.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I've ever even heard that.
It's crazy. Like you'll have to like look it up because he did over here for the Super Bowl. They did this commercial where it's him, Chris Evans, and I think this actress from SNL, and they're all notorious, not notorious, but they're all famous, you know, Boston individuals, Bostonites or whatever they're called. And so they're all talking.
Like Conan O'Brien.
Yeah, and they're all talking about like parking this car, and this car has Smart Park. So like those are very like the way that you pronounce those words of
Smart Park.
Exactly. So like John Krasinski pulls up and Chris Evans like, he's never gonna get that car in there. And then John Krasinski's like, oh, look at these wankers or whatever it is, like some Bostonian thing. And they're like, you can't get that in there. And he's like, I got Smart Park. And he's just speaking normally, and it just messes me up so bad. I think like Kelly was here for the Super Bowl and watched it, and I think she was like, why are they speaking like that? I was like, that's how people speak.
Yeah, that's how people from Boston speak, Kelly. How are you so uncultured?
Oh, shut up. To be fair, like, do people know that outside of like the U.S. that like Bostonians have a specific accent?
Dude, I don't fucking know. I know.
Yeah, I know you know, but I've very seldom. You're American as it gets.
Yeah, that's true. I bleed red, white, and blue, baby.
You're as American as apple pie.
Fucking, I'm about freedom and justice. That's what I'm about. Whenever I get home from a long day of work, I crack open a Coors Light and I take off my socks and I just feel freedom flowing through me. You know what I mean?
Are you my dad? Papa?
God, that'd be very weird.
Oh man, what a realization.
Speaking of dads, though, I want to talk about like the real important shit in the world. All right, I want to talk about the real nitty gritty.
Oh Jesus Christ,
Baby Yoda. What's he doing right now?
Oh
What's going on?
God.
Where is he at? You know, I want to know because I binged The Mandalorian yesterday, and for some reason, after one episode, I am willing to literally die and kill for Baby Yoda. So can we talk about that?
How about we put that on the discussion topic for next week?
Have you seen The Mandalorian?
I haven't, because like I want to, because it's one of the newer Star Wars IPs that doesn't completely like whore out the franchise. So I do want to check it out.
Yeah, it's actually really good.
Yeah,
it's actually really good. It's taken me way too long as well. Also, Gina Carano's in it.
Really?
Which is awesome. Yeah, Bill Burr is in it.
Oh, okay, that's boss. Does he play? Does he play the Mandalorian? I just imagine Baby Yoda on his lap touching the button, and he's just like, "What the fuck are you doing? Stop touching that! Jesus Christ, I'm gonna take you back."
Yeah. But he is actually like he's really good like in the show. The thing is like what's funny about it, because like I knew he was in it like before I watched it, right? Because I'd like listened to his podcast and I watched interviews with him and everything. The thing is like what's funny about him is like in multiple of his stand-up specials, he shits all over Star Wars.
How dare
like,
he? How fucking dare he?
He doesn't like it at all. But then like he talks about like how he got the part for Mandalorian, and he's like at some party like with his wife. And they run into Jon Favreau, who's like, Favreau's basically like, yeah, like I'm doing this Star Wars thing. I think it'd be cool to have you on. You know, I think it'd be a fun thing. And Burr was like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if you've listened to my specials and all that stuff. I really don't give a shit about Star Wars. And then his wife's there, like, dude, you fucking take the part. You dumbass. And he's like, oh, yeah, I mean, I'd love to.
Yeah, Han Skywalker.
But Favreau is like, yeah, that's why I think it'd be funny. You know, like to have you in it, like because it's like a guy like in the Star Wars world that doesn't give a shit about all the stuff in the Star Wars world, which is basically his character in the Mandalorian. Because like there's a part without like spoiling anything, right?
Yeah.
Like obviously, like you know about Mandalorians, you know, like Boba Fett was a Mandalorian, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
they never like, they don't take off their helmets, right? So that's like a big thing in the show as well. And then like Burr's character's like, yeah, why don't you take off your helmet, huh? It's like, what are you like a Gungan under there? You so shy, like you know, like he just says something like that. It's like, oh yeah, like it's the character that makes fun of Gungans. You know, I was just like, fuck yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude. And then, like I said, like fucking Gina Carano's in it. I love that, like, she like because she's an actress now, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, she was in Deadpool as well.
Yeah, she's in Deadpool and now in the Mandalorian. And for some reason, like I guess like because of her MMA background and stuff, she always plays like a female heavy.
Yeah, but she was also a American Gladiator.
Yeah, even though she's super fucking hot, you know. But I'm
all about a hot heavy,
dude. I'm here for it, dude. Like I'm a simple man. All right, I'm a real simple man. I just want a really like gorgeous woman that could ruin me physically and support me emotionally, and Gina Carano ticks all those boxes.
It seems like this entire chat agrees. Also, I've seen either comments about Gina Carano, they're very here for it, or people saying, wait, why the fuck is AJ's mic so good? And I'm so about all of that.
Yeah, but can we talk more about Gina Carano?
We're never going to be able to have a full podcast about just one topic, are we?
Absolutely not.
Okay, why did I think that was going to happen?
I refuse to do that.
Oh my fucking god. So yeah, Gina Carano. Let's look her up on the Wikipedia because that's where we're at now.
Dude, she's only like 38 as well.
Really?
So, yeah, I looked it up yesterday. Don't worry.
I'm looking it up right now. She's actually 38. She's from Dallas, Texas.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Wait a minute. She's actually pretty short. She's like 5'8". She's only weighs 143 apparently.
Yeah, but you know, she plays heavies and
yeah, she probably got jacked up for American Gladiators or something.
Yeah, American Gladiators and MMA, right? Like
yeah.
I
well,
remember,
no, MMA
like,
you'd be cutting.
Oh, okay, yeah. But the thing is, like, I remember like she became like kind of like famous or whatever because she was like the first like MMA girl that was like super pretty as well. As from what I remember, like that's kind of like what made her famous.
I'm not sure if I was involved, not involved, but like engrossed enough in UFC or MMA world in general to know, like when women's fighting really started, to know who the first one would be. Because I feel like there was a couple, but like, I mean, Gina Carano is the one I think of.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, fuck.
I remember when she popped up in Deadpool, I was like, I know her. I know that very attractive, jacked up lady. And I had no idea from where. And of all things, it was actually
I knew right away, dude. I knew right away. I watched Deadpool in theaters with my brother. She showed up, and I looked over to him, and I was like, "That's fucking Gina Carano right there."
Your brother just turns to you. Jurn, who is that? You're like, that's my that's my wife.
That's my future wife, baby. Don't worry about it.
Oh.
But yeah.
Okay, well,
I just like because like I was never like super engrossed. Oh, whoops. In the like MMA and stuff either. Like I would watch kickboxing back in the day and stuff, right?
Oh, really? Oh, I guess you'd have to because you're Dutch. That's like a requirement, right?
Oh no, absolutely not.
No, don't you take that like first through 12th grade?
I wish.
You guys, your Pledge of Allegiance in the morning is to Bas Rutten.
Yeah.
Everybody has tattoos in their palms.
But that has nothing to do with him being Dutch. It's just it has to do with him being a legend.
An absolute fucking.
I actually
badass.
talked with my dad this week about Bas Rutten again.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think my dad knows who Bas Rutten is.
Yeah, because this is actually really funny. Because like I went to my dad and he was just like, "Yeah, man, you hear about Jerry Stiller dying?" And I was just like, "Oh yeah, I heard. It's a real shame." But then I saw he was like 92, 93, so I was like, "Oh, like it's about time to head out."
He was probably bored.
Yeah, I mean, like at a certain point, I know that like from like we talked about that last week about like people in our family.
Yeah, title of the podcast: "Death of Family," baby.
Yeah, but oh, Jurn looks like he did kickboxing. I've trained in kickboxing, yeah, but but to be fair, like AJ said, it's pretty much a Dutch requirement.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
from birth.
Yeah, I'm not a fucking backyarder kickboxer like Tommy N. But but anyway, like my dad was talking about that, right? And the thing was like he like got sent down a rabbit hole because he saw like, oh, Jerry Stiller died, and then he just went like, oh, let me check out some King of Queens clips of Jerry Stiller because my dad loved King of Queens. And then he saw Bas Rutten on King of Queens, and then he just started checking out Bas Rutten MMA highlights.
Amazing.
And then like my dad was just like, yeah, I really want to see like if he was really as like good as people hyped him up to be, because it was like a long time ago. And then like he said like, yeah, I looked it back, and man, he was fucking good.
Yeah. For a little bit, me and Tim in the WXW Academy, he showed it to me. He had like the Bas Rutten like shadow boxing CD or whatever downloaded on his iPod.
Yeah. Me and Tim have talked at great lengths about Bas Rutten.
I bet. But yeah, those things are like insane. You just hear his voice and he's like so commanding and sounds so nice, but he's dangerous.
Dude, that's the thing. Like this is like part of the reason like why my dad loves him. It's because like he's a psycho, So if you piss off Bas Rutten, like he's coming fucking after you, right? So like you could see that in his fights. Like for example, like when he would fight like the Shamrocks, right? Like Frank or Ken in Pancras, like they would fuck around a lot, like especially Frank, which like Rutten didn't like because he feels like he's being mocked, right?
Yeah.
So then like he immediately like flips a switch and he just kills the guy. Like I remember one fight of like Bas Rutten against Frank Shamrock, where because Bas Rutten like never learned like submission grappling. He had to be like he taught himself basically submissions.
Yeah.
So like he has like this leg lock on Frank Shamrock, but like I guess it's not like fully in or whatever, like it's not in properly. But like as he has it in, like he's slapping Frank, because it's pancrash, you have to do open hand.
Yeah.
So he's slapping Frank, and Frank is like laughing, right? He's like, you can't fucking hit me or whatever, or like hurt me or like something like that. And like you just see like these cold dead eyes from Rutten, and as soon as like they get back up on their feet, he fucking takes them out, dude. Like he just starts going in on him and just like hits him in the liver and shit, and like just knocks him out. Like he just kills him because you could know, like, oh yeah, all right, enough is enough. Like,
I'm actually seeing that fight right here in his records, and he defeats Frank Shamrock, TKO, doctor stoppage at Pancrase Truth 5 in '96.
Yep.
And it looks like he's faced the Shamrocks 3 times in Pancrase.
Yeah, something like that.
He lost to Ken twice, beat the fuck out of Frank twice. Yeah. So he's fought both twice.
Yeah.
The thing that's crazy about me though is because I kind of take the MMA records of Pancrase with a grain of salt, right? Because wasn't it more of a work to shoot promotion? Like some of the fights were legit and some weren't.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like Suzuki was in it too, right? So.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, but I mean, Suzuki is a shoot badass. Like he could.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't know how much of it like was work now was real. I think it was more like shoot, like it was more real than it was worked.
Yeah.
Because it's a thing as well. Like I think it was recently actually like a GIF popped up of Bas Rutten like in New Japan, and like he said something about it. It's like, oh, like it's crazy how people believe this is real, you know, but this is like pro wrestling for New Japan. Like I just have good timing and he's just good at selling, you know?
It just legit looks like he just knocks this dude's dick stiff.
Yeah, but like if he says that like about New Japan, I'm sure like at some point either he or somebody else would have said something similar about Pancras. You know what I mean? So I'm sure like a lot of it like was for real.
Yeah,
but then for example, like you have to take like martial arts in Japan with a grain of salt in general. You know what I mean? Because like if you look at like I watch a lot of like K1 and Pride like growing up.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like completely sold on Crow Cop, who like I don't know if you know Crow Cop.
Yeah, Crow Cop. He's like the king of leg kicks and stuff, or head kicks, or whatever else.
Yeah, exactly. But then like the thing was, I was completely sold on him as a kid. The thing was, the Japanese were as well. So that's why he knocked everybody the fuck out, because everybody got paid more money to lay down. Yeah. But that like only like came to light later. Like, don't get me wrong, like Crow Cop was a fucking killer. You know what I mean? Like he was a great fighter, but maybe not as great as he was made out to be in Japan.
I think it was Chael Sonnen who like called out a lot of like former Pride fighters that because Pride closed and then a bunch came to the UFC eventually, like Rampage and Vanderlei Silva and stuff like that, and Crow Cop, and like when they all did, and a lot of them didn't do that well. Chael Sonnen was the first to be like, yeah, it's because most of those fights they had were fucking fixed, and they're not that good. And then, like, not long after, I have no idea. I'm not saying it is or it is, so if anybody gets all heated in the chat or listening to this later, I have no idea. I'm a pro wrestler. I have no idea the inner workings of Pride or Pancrase. This is just from what I've heard from some reputable sources, but I don't know for sure. But, like, I think like some of the Pride matches were a little bit like skewed from what I've heard, and Chael Sonnen was blasting like, yeah, that's why this and this, and why this person isn't doing well, and this is why I bitched out this person. And then like not long after, Mirko Crow Cop gets fucking his dick knocked stiff by Gabriel Gonzaga with a leg kick. Which was crazy disgusting.
But Crow Cop like flopped huge in UFC.
Yeah.
But that's at that point he was also older, but it's still like it also like it did give a lot of credibility to those rumors, right? That like people were just told to lay down. So
also did you know in his Japan fighting days, Crow Cop was considered like for a little bit the pro wrestler killer?
Oh, what?
Yeah, he fought, if I'm not mistaken, he was the one that fought Jushin Liger and Alberto Del Rio and fucking destroyed them.
Oh yeah, I know about the Del Rio fight because he fought in a mask.
Yeah, so, Liger fought.
That's why I remember that.
Liger fought in a version of his mask as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I did not know about the Liger fight. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing as well, because like Wanderlei Silva was like when I saw him in like Pride and in K1 and stuff, I was like, oh my god, like this guy's crazy, right? And then like he did pretty average in UFC. I was like, oh. Yeah, but it's the same thing for like guys like Shogun and everything. But like, I think Shogun had more success though than like Wanderlei. Shogun actually became light heavyweight champion in UFC as well. So I guess like, I guess technically that makes him better. Didn't Shogun like beat some karate dude that was like undefeated for like a long time? Let me like.
Lyoto Machida.
Yeah.
But I don't think Lyoto Machida was undefeated at that point. Or maybe he was.
I think he was, dude.
That's another quote I remember is Chael Sonnen going off, being like, our light heavyweight champion is some dumbass karate dude.
He was undefeated until he lost to Shogun Rua.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think of like...
And this is,
I never think of Lyoto Machida being an undefeated fighter. Like, he never had that hype train behind him, or maybe because he wasn't, like, a big talker or something like that. Like, maybe when...
No, he was, like, he had the charisma of a fucking brick. So that's, like, the machine didn't want to get behind him, you know? Whereas at least, like, I feel like they wanted to... Like, obviously they wanted to get behind, like, a Rampage, you know? Because Rampage was fucking, like, he could talk in circles, you know?
Yeah.
But, and then, like, it's easy to get behind, like, for example, like, Shogun as well. Because at least, like, he was a good-looking dude.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. So yeah, oh yeah, I'm like, because Chino said in the chat that Shogun actually did well post Pride, so I'm checking actually afterwards right now.
Yeah,
And I
Shogun was
remember him,
legit. Shogun did
yeah, like,
well in UFC.
I, yeah, I remember like he was like a real killer in Pride, and then like he get to UFC and it was kind of like iffy, but I'm checking it now. He actually did really well. Yeah.
Also, I just looked it up out of curiosity to make sure we didn't get anything wrong. Because obviously, we're both pro wrestlers, and I care a lot about the history of pro wrestling. So I wanted to make sure I wasn't talking out my ass, especially since I love the style of pro wrestling. And according to like former participants, like Pancrase as a total wasn't like he said maybe 4 or 5 total outcomes at the most were maybe predetermined, but for like 95% of it was like complete shoot.
All right. All right, I'll take that. That's pretty much what I feel like we kind of deduced that.
Yeah.
So.
And also,
I'm also reading right now that Shogun has said that he will never fight Wanderlei Silva nor his own brother Murillo due to their personal relationship.
That's sweet. AKA he doesn't want to knock their dick stiff.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to beat the fuck out of him.
Because I feel like Wanderlei Silva did not do well in UFC either.
No,
he like
I remember he was crazy in Pride.
Yeah.
But I'm checking it here right now. Like when he went to UFC, he has like 3 wins total in UFC.
And I think he beat Brian Stan, he beat Chung Lee, he beat Michael Bisping, and he beat Keith Jardine. But Keith Jardine was on the way down at that point. Michael Bisping, that one surprises me, but that was UFC 110, so that was very early Michael Bisping.
Bisping's career, yeah.
Yeah. And I wanted to say
Bisping was weird because Bisping is a guy that always like had like a lot of potential.
Yeah.
Right? But then like a lot of big fights he would kind of choke.
I mean, the story for me for Michael Bisping is like, because I watch him now on maybe like Fox Sports or whatever he does commentary on, and he's great at his job. Like he gets it. He's super articulate. He's like great. And then I don't hate him like I did back in the day. So I was like, oh no, he played his role really well. But like when he first came into the scene after the Ultimate Fighter, he
was like a big loudmouth guy.
He was a big loudmouth guy. He was like playing a good heel, and then he would get his like fucking shit creamed, and then it seemed like he got a little bit more serious and like talked a little less and like really hunkered down, and he ended up doing really well later. Like the back end of his career was a lot more fruitful than the beginning of it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's that's one of those weird things. Like I remember like because Dutch people in general like. Or maybe it's just like the group of people I hung out with, like we're super into UFC at one point.
Yeah,
and maybe it's just like because like Dutch people like combat sports. Yeah, I mean,
from birth, I understand.
From birth, we get taught. Day one, we get handed the Bible and like a Bas Rutten self-defense DVD.
Yeah. Also, real quick. Let me correct what I said. Michael Bisping actually did pretty well the entire time. His total record is 30-9, so I should shut up.
Yeah. That's
so
fucking good.
You keep running your mouth, my boy. No, keep going.
Yeah. But the thing was like, but pro wrestling isn't a hot thing at all, like in the Netherlands. So for me, it was funny. Like all these people, like all these Dutch people, were going nuts about like Bisping, but also like Sonnen, and then later like McGregor and stuff, because they're all just guys that run their mouth, right? They're all just guys that cut promos.
Yeah.
And then and they're all like, oh, how dare they say that, blah blah blah. You know, it's just like you realize you're being fucking worked. Like,
I love it though. That's why for the longest time Jim Cornette was like, yeah, MMA is just the new pro wrestling, and they just do it way better than pro wrestlers.
Yeah. Like I don't necessarily disagree with that,
dude.
But it's the same thing. Like I had to remind some people as well. Like, hey, like you guys, like Muhammad Ali did the same thing. Like
100%. He trained in pro wrestling for like a little bit, or like went to a school or something like that. He had he was working did like some kind of angle with Gorilla Monsoon like way back in the day.
Yeah, he also worked with Piper, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like he's the fucking man.
Yeah.
But speaking of Conor McGregor, like a year ago, there's this liquor store near my gym, because America, of course there's. Actually, that goes for all over the world. Everybody likes booze. But randomly, like I found this out like a couple hours later. Like my buddy Chris texted me in our group chat and was like, Conor McGregor was just in the Timonium liquor store. I was like, what? I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, how do you know this? He's like, it's all over Facebook. Like, because he had came out with his like Irish whiskey, and that store was carrying it. So he was going like on a tour, randomly checking into liquor stores, carrying his whiskey and doing just random on the spot guest appearances. And I was like, what the? I was literally like 10-minute drive from him at the gym. Like, what is this bullshit? Like, what? I just thought it was the craziest thing.
You remember that one like video of Conor McGregor sparring with the Mountain?
No, I don't. I have never seen that.
It's great. Like it's really funny because it's just like I think it's like the most hilarious thing because like the Mountain, like how big is McGregor? Like he's
a small dude.
He's really.
Hold on.
Let me look it up.
I'm pulling this up right now, like the video, so I can watch it live here. Why did this come up? Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, he's 5'9", 170. Good lord, it's like fucking Spike Dudley sized.
Spike Dudley know how to talk that talk and throw hands, my dude.
Yeah, but like so he's like 170, right?
Yeah,
170 pounds,
which is a decent size for his height.
The Mountain is like legit like 400 pounds, if not heavy. Right?
Yeah.
So the Mountain is like half Thor Bjornsson, for those that don't know. It's this huge dude. He's a powerlifting guy. Strong man, all that shit. So the sparring is basically just like McGregor's bobbing and weaving and like hitting the Mountain. And the Mountain is just like moving forward slowly
and like grabbing him. Yeah, I'm watching it right now.
Yeah, trying to grab him. And I remember like so many people reacted to him or reacted to that video being like, yeah, it was a real fight. McGregor would fuck the Mountain up. And I was just like, what video are you watching? Because like none of his punches are phasing the Mountain at all. Like it's the thing, like people don't realize like in combat sports and all that stuff, there's a reason there's weight classes. I remember at one point people were saying like McGregor would fuck up Brock Lesnar. It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
No, like granted, like
is McGregor a better stand-up fighter than Lesnar? Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. Like technique wise, absolutely.
100%.
But would he beat him in a fight? No.
Like I'll put it,
he doesn't have the fucking knockout power, dude.
I'll put it this way: there's the possibility that if he caught a lucky shot, and like, because Conor McGregor is an amazing defensive striker and like counter striker, if like Brock started swinging and didn't take it seriously or whatever, or something happened, like Conor could get a shot and then put him down, sure. But like to say he would fuck him up is the stupidest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah, but but the thing, like that lucky shot is the 1 time out of 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with the Mountain. Mountain may not be a good fighter or whatever. He probably isn't. But the thing is, like, he can, like, as long as he defends his fucking face, you know, because his body can take all the shots like Conor can give him. As long as he defends his face, and as soon as he gets his hands on him, like, dude, like, you don't understand. Mountain could literally rip a person in half. Especially somebody like McGregor.
Yeah, it's gross. So, like, and even to the point, even if you want to do the Conor McGregor Brock Lesnar scenario, Brock Lesnar is an All-American NCAA wrestler. Like, maybe he's not going to put you in a submission or whatever, but once he charges you and takes you down, like, shit's over.
Dude, his fight with Mark Hunt, he threw like Mark Hunt around like he was a baby.
An absolute child.
Mark Hunt is fucking 265 pounds.
Yeah, and he's no joke. He was the 10th ranked heavyweight in the world.
Yeah, he outweighs McGregor by almost 100 pounds.
It's gross. It's just
what's Lesnar gonna do to McGregor, dude? Like,
it's crazy. And like to your point, the whole weight class matters thing, which is important. Like, it reminded me of a story when I was wrestling. I think this was when I was in junior league. Yeah, so I was like 7 years old during this time, or maybe a little bit older. Maybe I was in middle school. I forget. But we would do this thing at the end where you'd line up by weight class, so heaviest at the end and lightest at the other end. Yeah. And the lightest would start and wrestle the next heaviest or whatever, and you would just keep going until you got all the way up to the heavyweights. And, you know, with the weight differences and going up in skill level, like, eventually, like, the smaller guys get weeded out because they're tired. The bigger guys kind of get it, but it's not too big of a weight difference where it matters. But then one day, this smaller dude was just wrecking kids, and he was really getting it. In fact, his name was Tim Gunn, if I remember correctly. Big shout out Tim Gunn. You'll never hear this, but and he was going up, and everybody's like, do we let him keep going? And they're like, he's like, yeah, I can do it. And everybody's like, yeah, okay, just be careful. And he went up against this kid who was about a little bit shorter, but he was real stocky. He was a heavy set kid. Probably outweighed him by only like 50 pounds.
Yeah.
He went for the takedown. The thicker kid kept him upright, and then they both fell over. And Tim went to catch himself with his hand and put his hand down first. But that extra weight on that smaller body cracked his forearm straight in half. It was like, I remember seeing it as a kid. It looked like a fucking rainbow.
Oh my God.
Just 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Like it makes a difference. People are like, "Oh, let him fight at catch weights," or "Let's get a specialty match, Connor versus Bro." No, that's dangerous. Like it's stupid dangerous.
Dude, I trained in MMA for a bit, right?
Yep.
And then I'm not a good fighter. I feel like my ground game is better than my stand-up game, right?
Yeah.
But what I would do in ground game, and this is what I do with guys like my weight as well. It's you just lay on top of them, right? And then, you just kind of shift your weight, and then they get tired, and I would tap them out. But the thing is, I didn't even have to shift my weight against smaller guys. I just lay down. I can't do anything anymore. You know what I mean? And then the thing was as well, at one point, when I did boxing, I was we would have sparring sessions, and then I had to one time I had to spar with this way smaller guy, but we were pretty much the same height,
Yeah.
And the thing was all of his shit didn't faze me. He couldn't hurt me. You know what I mean? So then I just bopped him on the nose, and then he went down. Right away, it was just a jab on the nose, and then he got super into it, he got fired up because he was pissed off that I hit him in the face and knocked him down, and then he started swinging for it, and I just looked at the coaches hey man, I thought it was sparring, homeboy's going all out, maybe you should just tell him to reel it back in, and he was just hey man, if he's going like that, you go like that. And I was all right. So I knocked him down 5 more times. He had he had to quit sparring because his nose started. But
I had a very similar situation once happen to me when I was training.
Yeah.
It was two. One, there was this dude that would come in, and he was a doctor. He was an older dude, and he would come in for the kickboxing stuff. He was pretty tall. He was 2 inches, maybe 3 inches taller than me.
Yeah.
And this was years ago, so I was probably 205, 210, something like that, but not the same 205 or 210. I was walking.
It's waiting for you.
What the fuck just happened?
Counting down the days.
I don't know.
Until it's finally time to meet the open road and go.
You guys hear that? What the fuck was that? Did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear anything.
A fucking ad just started playing in my ears. I hope that didn't show up on here, but I don't know what the fuck that was from. But anyway, this older dude was starting to get into it. We're just sparring. You're supposed to go, 60% max.
Yeah.
And so he starts getting really into it. I'm like, what the fuck is kind of going on? And I'm like, okay, he's an older dude. He's a doctor. He's trying to feel tough and piss and vinegar against a younger dude. And then I just straight front kick this dude in the chest and drop him. And my trainer was like, yeah, fucking right. And the old man calmed down a bit after that. I didn't he was a tough dude, but that was the thing was we're not supposed to be swinging for the fences. And then I had this other dude who's a bit shorter than me. He was a real heavy set guy, but he could throw a leg kick, and he was throwing bombs at my head. And two things I'm thinking. I'm like, we're supposed to be going 60%. I'm not trying to get a concussion before I have to wrestle all weekend. You're obviously not going to go on to be a fighter. What are you doing? Let's train properly. It's still a good workout. And I just kind of look over at my trainer, and he's kind of because he rocked me with one. And I went to a knee, and I looked over at him, and he kind of shrugged his shoulders. He's and then he kind of mentioned hey, calm down a little, come on now. And then like I got up and like it was within like the next 20 seconds, and I was like, all right, we're gonna go. And like I'm not a tough man by anything, but I think I took this dude by surprise. He was like, oh fuck, and he like chilled a little bit, but then was still throwing him. But then like he was a tubby kid, kind of, so I kind of saw him a mile away, and I just ducked him and just fucking whopped him in the side of the head.
Dude, there's one time like kickboxing and shit. Like I felt really bad. Like I was sparring with my brother. I don't know. I haven't really told you much about my brother, I feel like. But like my brother's like
I feel like
6'5",
but
6'5", 6'6", something like that.
Yeah,
like,
I knew
he's
that.
A really tall dude, right? And then like the thing is like he was really fucking talented when it came to kickboxing, right? Where they like
that reach.
Yeah, but also just like he was like super athletic, you know, and like he's a really hard worker. Where like he's super disciplined and he's extremely like competitive when it comes to that stuff. So at one point, like they were thinking about like bringing him over to like Amsterdam to train for like tournaments and all that kind of stuff, which is like Amsterdam is like the fucking mecca for kickboxing in the Netherlands. So, but like, and he didn't do it because he wanted to be like in the military.
He wanted to take people out from 500 yards, not 5 feet.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing was like one time we were sparring and like I was sparring with him, right? And he was just like knocking the shit out of me. Like I couldn't touch him. Yeah, and I'm like, you know, 6'2", which is not like short by any standards. But I couldn't get in close, you know? And like at that time I didn't know enough about like stand up as well. So like my dad was like, yeah, you got to get in pocket. I was like, I don't know what that means. Like
I can't fit in his pocket, Dad.
Yeah. And he's like, no, like you got to get your guard up and then like get in close and like hit him from there. So it's like, all right, I'll try it, you know. And at one point, like I got in, I nailed him on the liver. And like afterwards I realized like, I shouldn't have done that, you know? Because like
this is the moment where keeping it real went wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Because he took it and he was like, oh fuck, like that was like he looked like in a weird way he looked at me like with pride. He's like, oh yeah, it was good. And he just lit me up, dude. Like he just beat the fuck out of me.
That it broke jaw for 2 years.
And then like I got saved by the bell, you know, because like at one point like trainer like blew the whistle and like we had to switch like sparring partners, you know, and then my like I felt way better afterwards because apparently like my brother just like mopped the floor with like literally everybody else that was there, and I was the only one that really got a shot in. So I was like, oh, all right. I feel better about myself. I'm not as much of a failure as I thought I was.
Your family's just walking out all cockstrong. Your brother like, I crippled everyone in there, and you're just like, I got a shot in on the guy that crippled everyone in there.
That's kind of how it went.
Yeah.
Like. There's like so like the way like that gym like looked like it was like there's like just like this section of mats and then like they had the ring, right, like up against the wall.
Yeah,
like it wasn't a big gym at all. So they would have like the people like that were good, like or had been training for a longer time, like go in the ring, you know. But they could tell like it was my brother's like first time there, but he had like trained like a shitload of times like at other places before that, so that they could tell, so they put him in the ring, right? But I remember there was this one dude who had like been training at that gym for forever, right? And he had gone to Thailand and had done like Muay Thai camps there and all that kind of stuff, and he left mid-training session because my brother kicked the shit out of him.
Really?
He was so frustrated and fed up that like he left. So yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Did you have any times where in any of your like kind of actual fight, not actual, but in any of your fighting training where you had someone that would like maybe pick on you and you just were like, yep, gonna wreck you?
No, people didn't really pick on me because like at that time I was already bigger than everybody.
Oh,
so
fair enough.
I had one dude who was like also jacked, you know, I guess like a little shorter than me.
Yeah.
And like there was like, I guess like friendly competition in that, where he and I were like started training around the same time. I think he started training like a little bit before me, but I was like a little more athletically inclined.
Yeah.
So like we were pretty much even keeled her like for the most part. So that was fun, you know. And then like later, like he did actual fights and he actually did really well. But so that was cool. I was like, oh man, I could have made it. No,
I could have been the one.
No, but like I know they were thinking about like prepping me for matches. I was like, hey, like I don't know what you guys are thinking, but they're like, I'm not about that. But besides that, no. Like I remember, like most guys were just like, oh, like they wanted me to take it easy on them.
Please don't hurt me.
I this one older dude once, who's like this really tall guy. So I remembered from like the sparring with my brother and like the tips from my dad. It's like, yeah, gotta get in pocket. So like I got in pocket and like once again like I hit him on the liver and he's like, "Ooh, can you please take it easy?" I was like, "Oh yeah, sorry."
I once had this. I was I think it was no-gi jiu-jitsu, and I was rolling with this older dude. Like he would sometimes, like he brought his daughter to the kids classes, and then one day he came in and participated, and he was getting like I had been in amateur wrestling at this point for a couple years. I think I had been coming to the MMA school for a handful of weeks, but like because of wrestling, I picked up the grappling easier than I think normally people would. I wasn't great, but like I would a lot of times get paired with maybe the blue or the purple belts. They'd whip my ass, but I'd do all right for a little bit. Tapped out a blue belt a couple times. Pat myself on the shoulder. But
tapped out a blue belt a couple of times in my day.
I got a brown belt in a triangle, and I was like, I'm going to do this. And then he eventually got out and made me pay for it. But anyway, so I'm grappling with this old dude, and he's getting like really ambitious. I was just like, he's going full force. He wants to go in, and I'm like, okay. So I'm younger and douchey, and I'm just like, well, if you want to go, we're gonna go. And like it's to the point where like he's going for stuff, and I'm like, he's so skinny and frail that I just like stand up to my feet and then slam him back down to get him off of me, and like to where he's like, oh, and he's like, no, that's good, keep going. I'm like, all right, and I'm just like kind of tossing this dude around to where like the black belt and owner of the school, his name was Lee. He kind of looks, he's like, all right, take it easy over there a little bit. Like he's kind of like, all right, AJ, calm down. Like there's a 30-year age difference clearly, and like 40 pounds. And I'm kind of like, oh, now I feel kind of bad. But the guy was like, no, keep going. I'm just like, so like then I would just end up like holding him down a bunch.
Yeah, that's what I usually, like I said, like Tim, like for example, like always loves my like stories about like training in MMA and stuff.
Yeah,
because he loves like get side control, get top wrist lock, you know. Because I was like,
yeah, he's put me in that a bunch.
Yeah, dude, I taught him.
Okay, guys, you heard it here first on the podcast. Jurn Simmons, head trainer for Timothy Thatcher.
No, the thing is just like, yeah, because Tim loves grappling, all that stuff. And it's just like, yeah, like, you know, like grappling, like I was better at, like I was good at like moving around like on the ground and all that stuff. I was bad at submissions. So I knew the Kimura, the top.
Because you saw Brock Lesnar do it, right?
Fuck yeah, no. No, because it's super easy. It's like the most basic of submissions.
Yeah.
So I would get in side control, you know. I would let them tire them out, and I would like hook the Kimura. I would let them tap. Like that's how I would do it every time. And then like the thing, like it was funny because like nobody wanted to grapple with me anymore at my point because they knew like my game plan. They just like didn't have a defense for it. Like I remember like my dad got really annoyed because he had no idea what to do on the ground. Like he was a karate dude, so he was better at stand up. But like I remember one time, the trainer at the gym that I trained at, he was like I guess like a jiu-jitsu guy and all that kind of stuff, like BJJ stuff. So he at one point like was like, all right, everybody gets like a 2-minute round on him where he's on his back and like you're standing up and like you gotta try to get him to tap. And the only two who were able to do it were me and my brother. And the reason was purely because like we got in there and then just picked his ass up and slammed him. And then like went over and got the Kimura.
Amazing.
Like we wore him out by slamming him and then got the Kimura. So
all right, so we're almost at the 1 hour mark, and something that was said in the chat reminds me that do you still want to leave the end for like 3 questions or something?
Yeah, for sure.
Also, Kim Wrestling is
question number 1: why is Gina Carano not my wife?
Yeah. So also Kim Wrestling said y'all should do a Timothy Thatcher episode, and Tim would hate that, and that's probably never going to happen.
Yeah. For sure.
It's a bad idea for Jurn and I's health and our just friendship with Tim. We're like little brothers. Yeah. We're like forced little brothers with him. We're the 2 adopted like twins that he never wanted his parents to get.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
A decade later, Tim's like, "Can you send them back? They've aged out of the orphanage."
Yeah. I remember like it was funny at Kara with Tim. Well, like he kind of had the same reaction to you to me and Eddie. It was like he saw like me and Eddie like how we got along right away, and he was like he was just like, "Oh no."
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, there's 2 of them.
All right, guys. So go ahead and
because then me and Eddie immediately, of course, like started asking Tim about like how much he had gotten laid at the PC.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Before we go any farther with that, guys, go ahead and throw your questions in the comments. We're gonna probably pick 3, depending on what time allows. And I definitely need to get Jurn off this subject. And I love how
it's funny though.
I love
like,
yeah.
it just makes me and Eddie look bad. Like
I mean,
I don't think either of us care, you know. And just to be clear, I would give up everything for Gina Carano. Okay, just so we're 100% clear about that.
That's really funny because question number 1 was what would Jurn give up for Gina Carano? So the answer is everything.
Literally everything. Literally everything.
So let's see. Let's pick. Y2 Julian's throwing out 2. Chino's throwing out 1. You pick the first one.
Okay, I'll answer. Where did Eddie get the idea for thirst trap for Jurn? So the thing was like it was a Carrot weekend, right? And there's another wrestler, an Australian wrestler called AJ Istria or Ash Istria. I don't know. Everybody just calls him Ash or Istria. I think his Twitter handle is @PunchDrunkIstria.
Yeah.
But he was tweeting about like the Carrot weekend about Ambition because like he loves the Ambition style of wrestling. Like he was over for Carrot or Tag League? Carrot, I think. Tag League last year for oh fuck.
Oh no, maybe it was Carrot because I wasn't at Carrot, but I was at Tag League.
Okay, but he was around for like one of the Ambitions, right? Yeah, I think it was Carrot actually. And then so he's tweeting about the Ambition stuff at Carrot this year. So at one point he was like, "Yeah, this is coming up. I'm excited." Blah blah, just like general tweets about it, right? And then like, then he just went like, "Also, at Jurn Simmons is a thirst trap," like just randomly. I just responded to it like on Twitter. It's like, what? Like, how am I a thirst trap? Because like also because of how random it was. And then like Eddie saw it as well, and he was like, "That's fucking money. That's money. Thirst trap. Make the shirt. Let's do it." And then he just started posting about it every day. So that's how he got the idea. He thought it was hilarious that Istria tweeted that, and then since then he's been tweeting. So, yeah, that's that story. You want to pick the next question, AJ?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why I wasn't at the 2000. What?
Are you still there, dude?
Yeah, I'm here, dude. Don't worry. Okay. I got you, dog. I'm here. Don't worry. Listen to the sound of my voice.
Nice. I like it when you get in close.
Oh, I'm so close right here, baby. It's like I'm in your ear.
Yeah.
Ravioli. What's the formioli? Okay, so Y2 Julian asks, what's the favorite gaming moment? For me, like the first one that kind of popped to mind was my first time going through Metal Gear Solid 2. And my buddy came over and was playing it with me, and we were up till like 3:30 in the morning playing this game. And you get to the point where you're as Raiden, you're running through the shell naked, and things start freaking out. Boss battles start messing up. The screen all of a sudden goes to the death screen when it shouldn't, and like all this stuff Kojima threw in there to mess with you. And like it's super like fucks with you. And so me and my buddy were looking at each other like, what the fuck is going on? Like, are we high? And we didn't even know what high was. Like we like, or like, are we high or are we drunk?
High before,
yeah. And we're like, are there fumes in the house? Like, what's going on? And then we got through it. And then like eventually, not years later, but eventually we're both like, oh, that's just like part of the game. It's something to fuck with you. It's like a fourth wall breaking thing. And I thought that was so cool. And then like the next morning we beat the game, and it was super, super cool. Also, just real quick in the chat for anyone, because I've seen a couple people say hi and then be mad that we didn't say anything back. We're not ignoring you on purpose. Well, we are ignoring you on purpose. Remember, this is a podcast. We only interact every so often, or else it would kind of defeat the point of it being a podcast. So tune in for our regular Twitch streams, and we'll be able to interact more often. But again, if we don't acknowledge something, it's because we're in a train of thought, and we can't just keep stopping to acknowledge a chat, because that's not necessarily the point of this stream. So apologies for that, but also not apologies.
Okay, favorite gaming moment for me, honestly, that is such a fucking broad question, dude. I have no idea what the answer to that.
Yeah, I'm sure I have many more, but first thing that immediately popped in my mind was that.
I do not know for the life of me.
Listen, you son of a bitch, you either come up with one or I swear to God I'll pick one for you. You understand me right now?
I think like oh, you know what? Beating Red for the first time in Pokemon Gold.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember like, because Pokemon in general like was such a journey, like especially during that time. Like I remember Pokemon Blue, like how it took me forever to even leave Palatown because I didn't realize you had to.
I just want to settle down and find myself a house here, and
I think I've told that before, where it's just like somebody told you like, hey, don't go in the grass, there's Pokemon there. So I was like, all right, I can't go in the grass.
they'll then, like, get me.
And like my brother was already further into the game. He had Pokemon Red, I had Pokemon Blue, and then like I was just like, how do you get further? What do you do? He's like, go in the grass. He's like, but I'm not supposed to. And he was just like, just fucking do it, you dumbass. And I was just like, okay. So I did it, and like that kind of stuff. But the thing was like, especially back then, like, and still like during Pokemon Gold and Silver, like I don't remember ever looking anything up. You know what I mean? Like online, where like you'd hear about things. Like I found out about like the missing no and all of that kind of stuff. And you hear about that, but I never like had like a walkthrough with everything. So I remember like I got to Mount Silver, and then like eventually I got to Red, and I was like, oh shit. You know, and then he wiped me. And then I started to train up all my dudes, and I was like, fucking motherfucker. And then I finally beat him, and that felt really good. So I'll do that one, I guess.
Hell yeah. Kid_UK asks, I'm bringing you back full circle to the office here. Would you rather be stuck in a lift for an hour with Toby Flenderson or Todd Packer?
Oh, Todd Packer.
I knew that was your answer.
I think me and Packer would hit it off.
Immediately. You'd be the worst combination since you and Eddie Kingston.
Like me and Eddie Kingston.
Yeah. For me, it would probably be Toby Flenderson, because like for the sheer fact that I just will ignore him. Like if I'm gonna be stuck somewhere for an hour, I don't want to be yucking it up. I just want to. I'm already annoyed, and obviously, like me and you get along super well, so it's not like I wouldn't get along with Todd Packer yucking it up, saying horrible jokes, but he thinks they're genuine jokes, or at least the character thinks they're genuine jokes, and I'm laughing at the fact that how horrible and stupid they are, and that gets old real quick.
Yeah, I could see that.
So quick.
To be fair, yeah, like Toby would just kind of just shut the fuck up. I feel like.
Yeah, right.
Like you just wouldn't hang out.
Sometimes you just need that in your life.
Yeah. Kim Wrestling asks Jurn, Gina Carano or Kelly's mom?
Oh God.
I'm gonna have to go with Gina, baby.
That's fair. Since you never met and or know Kelly's mom, I guess you kind of have to.
That's true.
Not that you've met and or know Gina, but you know,
but I've seen her on screen and stage.
Screen and stage. You really know a woman when you see her fight.
Dude, you do. Like I said, dude. Like I said, I'm a simple man. All right. I just want somebody that's gorgeous, can ruin me physically, and support me emotionally. And Gina Carano definitely, like, she fulfills all of that, you know. So.
Well, guys, on that note, we're gonna call it a day for this week. Thank you, everybody.
On a good note.
Yeah, we're left on a really good note. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, participating, having fun, being patient. As you can tell, we're never going to stay on one topic. So from now on out, when I put up polls on the Twitter, it's just for what we're going to start with, and I think the fun is going to be see where the fuck we venture off.
Yeah.
If I even put up a poll. We'll talk about that off air. But anyway, you guys can catch me at Pain Prince James on all social media, or the Crown_gaming on Twitter, or the Crown.gaming on Instagram. Actually, I reverse those, switch that, reverse Uno. And of course, follow us at twitch.tv/thecrowntwitch, and Jurn's got stuff as well.
Yeah, I'm on Twitch at Marquee Gamer. So if you don't follow me on there, I'm pretty sure everybody in the chat follows me on there. But and I'm also on Twitter and on pretty much all forms of social media at Jurn Simmons. So yeah, there you go.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. Thank you, and have a good day if you choose to. If not, well, fine. Fuck you then. Just kidding. Bye, guys.